Currently 9:43 in the morning. LAPD is group stalking by helicopter. This is the light source, which is directly over me in Los Angeles, and this is LAPD group stalking in a helicopter. This is relevant positioning, crossing a path, and it's also criminal facilitation of federal group stalking and monitoring while the people of the state are monitoring with that entity. And this is at 1810 North Alvarado Street, and this is the light source, which again, my ongoing documentation is establishing the unnatural environment, which is the crime scene where the state is keeping one under surveillance in violation of constitutional and human rights. There is no warrant or probable cause that the Los Angeles Police Department nor the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, nor do they maintain through any vicarious means, which are the people of the state who are engaging in what is criminal surveillance in concert and on behalf of that entity, and it is surrounded by what is the evidence of an unnatural environment, which is the maintenance of this light source, which is not possibly the sun, that remains at this address from the beginning to the end of the day, just like you saw this morning at 6:37 in the morning. I'm at the same property address, and it is 9:44 a.m. This is the pattern of conduct that I'm exposing. And in addition to that, I want you to also see where LAPD is engaging in what is, first of all, it's demonic activity. So this is making known to the world what demonic activity actually looks like and what the demon possessed, whose condition is supposed to remain a secret. You have the demon possessed and law enforcement, the demon possessed that are literally surrounding you and engaging in what are demonic activity as they are engaging in that behavior all around you. And the significance of their behavior and everything that they are doing is in the specific environment where you have the engineered light. And this is a criminal system because it's the government that's maintaining presence, that is following wherever you go and remaining wherever it is that you are, including in whatever private space that you remain, which is the sex offense, that aspect of the state's ceaseless pattern of conduct. And at 9:45 in the morning on this same day in 2022, the entity, in the same way that I am facing what is east in Los Angeles at 1810 North Alvarado Street at 9:45 in the morning. And this is where I'm outside of my living room window facing the east direction, and you saw what was at 6:37 in the morning. Under no circumstances is that the sun, and that is the ongoing body of evidence that already exists. In addition to what I'm going to give you right now is ongoing video documentation serving to prosecute the entirety of the state of California, where the entity is engaging in what is the criminal pattern of conduct of engaging in terrorism via the elements of monitoring underway, while the LAPD is engaging in what is flying in a helicopter, which is called crossing path. They're engaging in what is group stalking, and while they do so, the sound of that helicopter activity is accomplishing a criminal system that is engaged in concert with all of those that are in relevant position. And this is serving for what is massive monitoring while you're looking at that occur on video underneath the light source, which is not possibly the sun. The light that you're looking at, the shadow of the bench, speaking to what is the direct presence of the light source directly above. This is my shadow that's right here speaking to the immediate presence of this light source, is impossible to coexist with the maintenance of the light source, which is what I'm documenting on this same day in 2022, where I am nowhere near Los Angeles, California, where the LAPD is flying over in helicopter. This is a long documented pattern of conduct by the corrupt law enforcement agencies who have been keeping me under surveillance and following everywhere that I go and remaining anywhere that I am by helicopter. This is while I'm inside of any private space, including the hotel room at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, that's Economy Inn, including any public place, which is a facilitating venue, such as the Ovid Family Community Library, or any side of any private space, such as the inside of my apartment, as you're seeing here, but also Baymont Inn, Mayfair Inn. These are venues where I was nowhere near Los Angeles, and the entity maintained a light source again. And I'm referring to this as the light source because this is not the sun as we understand the natural environment. That's why it will not be given that title, because this is not possibly the sun that is over me. And as just one example, giving the exact same day at the exact same time of year. And this is the light source that is remaining over me on this same day in 2022 when I am in Upland, California. And again, in Upland, California at this time of year, I'm remaining in Ontario. I'm sleeping outside at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts as I was expounding upon this morning while the so-called sunrise was witnessed through my living room window. And you saw also the engineered light that's appearing in the depths of my bedroom on my ceilings in the back portion of my apartment, which has nothing to do with the presence of a light source. And this is what I'm telling you is covering the entirety of the grounds everywhere that you are at. This is not the natural environment. That's not the sun. It's not the operation of the natural environment, in other words, nor is that normal normal sunlight. That's not sun, that's engineered light. And this environment is where the state is engaging in criminal conduct. This is covert stalking, and it's occurring in plain sight. All right. And this is a pattern that is shared by the state in any and everywhere that I go, which again, you are also understanding that when it is surrounded by the evidence of what is an unnatural environment, the sun is not maintaining ubiquitous presence in its zenith for the duration of the day at all places, everywhere you go. And if there is no such thing as the target individual, then that is certainly not occurring over everyone, everywhere, no matter where you're at all day long. That's not the natural environment, and it is impossible. And on this day in 2022, I'm in Upland, California, coming from Ontario, California, walking up and down Holt Boulevard in Ontario, and this is captured in still images on this day. And as I am getting off of Route 83, Omnitrans is a third-party group stalker. The light source is remaining over my head while I'm going north up Euclid Avenue in the city of Upland, nowhere near what is 1810 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, where the entity is engaging in what is the hallmark, that is stalking, engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, that is, in the specific environment that is now being maintained around me for the duration of the day in Los Angeles, California, which is not shared, any shared sky space of the sun over this 7-Eleven at 204 North Euclid Avenue at the same time in Upland, California.
It is impossible light activity. First of all, this is two shadows that I have, and this is orange radiant light. It's appearing on top of my shoe. It's not disappearing as you step in light ordinarily, because you're talking about the trajectory light. This is also appearing in the shade. This is not normal light. That's directed light coming in this direction. This is what is the environment where they're group stalking. And I captured their license plates on my podcast already. They're group stalking while I'm inside of the store. They're maintaining presence. Doing so with minor children. I got close-up images of this group stalker. He's a sex offender, him and the female in the vehicle, while they're engaging in this sex offense, this terrorism, the fake sun you can see reflecting on their windshield. It's right here above my head. This is the same.
Okay, so what I'm capturing, I am located at 204 North Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. And while you're looking at this light source that's hovering over me at this address, you are going to pay attention to
7-Eleven. It's a company engaging in
this is central over my head, all right, in Upland, California, while I am at 204 North Euclid Avenue, and this is at 1810 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, California, as I am standing at my leasing office and I am facing the direction east, okay? This very specific ecological location is relevant to relevant for purposes of understanding what is impossible to coexist. The sun is not maintaining this sort of presence. Not only is it here at Alvarado, literally through my bedroom window, as I continuously document and expose, where I am subject to criminal surveillance by the state that uses helicopters to engage in terrorism, while they're engaging in what are criminal elements of monitoring light activity and relevant positioning. This is perpetual presence in your path, while the ongoing criminal elements of light and noise, audible, any and everything that you can hear. And this is also occurring, these elements of monitoring also occur with simultaneity to what that targeted individual is doing, not only physically, but also on a communication device. This is serving for what is massive surveillance. This is occurring in an entirely distinct location. This is the hillside where the sunrise was occurring. The light source is still over me while I am facing this same hillside, over the people of the state that are living underneath. This is clearly over this hillside. This is not over Upland, California at 204 North Euclid Avenue on this same day, which would be the case. I would not see this light source here if this was a natural environment.
And that's the act of a demon-possessed person. This is Satan.
This is the address.
Environment. Not possible.
This is the address where the entity is engaging what is stalking by helicopters, using sirens as a means of amplified audible activity, group stalking in the path with third parties, just as you see here. This is called crossing a path. That's the entity Samuel Rickman, who's going to federal prison, engaging with the pattern like you see Tiffany Sherez engaging in, like you see him engaging in right now. That's the ongoing demonic behavioral pattern, which is linking, creating what is understanding a system. It's an impossible occurrence while you're driving your car underneath the sun, which is, again, documented over 204 North Euclid Avenue, which is not going to be shared, the shared sky space. And so it's not going to be over my car in Los Angeles, directly over my head, while it's over me at the same day, at the same time in Upland, California, as I then go to the Upland Public Library, and it's over the Upland Public Library as a matter of documentation, which you already know. It also is speaking to what is the light source that's over your car as the downward trajectory of light. Any direction that you're driving, light does not reflect off of your car and hit surfaces as you're driving your car. That is speaking to what is the ongoing demonic activity as Samuel Rickman just exhibited. And while Samuel Rickman is engaging in the outward demonstration of demon possession, Samuel Rickman represents the people of the state. Samuel Rickman is present on behalf of the government, engaging and participating in the state's criminal system, which is under no circumstances the exercise of any individual right. So you are living in the shoes of the government at a crime scene, engaging in 24-hour criminal surveillance. Surveillance is underway through what is maintenance in the path on behalf of the government that does participate directly, like you just saw LAPD do in a helicopter, and they're doing so on an ongoing basis while they maintain a specific environment, which is readily identifiable when I'm showing you documentation captured on the same day at the same time in an entirely different region. There is no provision, therefore, for the sun to be present over Alvarado Gardens when I'm capturing on this day in 2022 the maintenance of that light source in an entirely different region. And this is why you don't keep a light source over the Upland Public Library from the beginning of the day. As a matter of documentation, at Arrow and Euclid Avenue, 7:52 in the morning, which is just adjacent to the library, and I'm in that library exiting at 6 p.m. Yesterday, you saw video, I'm present at that same street in front of the Upland Public Library at 6:03 p.m. This is why you don't engage in that conduct, because where the target individual moves, then you're looking at, and let me be clear, while you stay there, the ordinary target individual is documenting the P.O.C. because you're understanding it. You don't have to move around in order to surround the evidence, the government with this evidence. So let me be clear, while the entity engages in that though, that underscores what is the criminal system that is underway. And so the entity is maintaining the specific environment where the light source is present from the beginning to the end of the day over an entirely different region, and then it is underscored where you are present at in a different location, and from the beginning of the day, this is where you have the sunrise and the sunset. All right, so this is the LAPD that is group stalking via people that are living at the venue, and you're witnessing it in plain sight. This is called surrounding in the path, monitoring on a communication device. Under the light source, engineered light touching all over his legs, he's monitoring with the communication device. That's LAPD that is engaging in the group stalking. That's not an individual exercising any privacy rights. This is the state that's engaging in massive surveillance with and via minor children, exercising no constitutional rights, making them, by the way, also sex offenders, monitoring somebody inside of the private space. While you see this engineered light inside of my bedroom, it's not sunlight. In the same way that Precious Bastillos and all of her minor children, which she's engaging in what is highly demonic and malicious and very deranged criminal activity in plain sight. This is what the secret society is doing on a regular basis, keeping American citizens under surveillance. The engineered light that you see inside of my bedroom, on my ceiling, while the entity is group stalking while I'm inside of my private space.
Of what is criminal surveillance, it is centered around what?
That is not sunlight. That's the engineered light that is covering the grounds here. Okay, the ability for light to just manifest in the depths of your apartment has nothing to do with the sun. The sun that is above us is not creating light that's going to reach into your closed blinds and appear in the depths of the back of the apartment. Remember, the light source is remaining through the living room window in the morning when it's so-called rising. Never going to be anywhere in Upland, California while I'm documenting that light activity, by the way. The entity is maintaining the light source for the till the end of the day, and in the back portion of my apartment where these are my bedroom windows are facing this direction. So the light source is on this direction. Even so, there is no explanation for this engineered light that's appearing on my ceilings. This is called stalking with light. So this is what Samuel Rickman is engaging in while he's driving by the building, and that's the demonic objective is to touch surfaces with the engineered light. That's called group stalking. This is what the entity is doing in concert with the people while the entity is exhibiting their demon possession, stalking in a helicopter in the specific environment under the light source that is not anywhere near Upland, California, and that's the prosecution of the people of the state who are in the shoes of the government. All 59 units here are living at a crime scene, which is a third-party facilitating venue. Speaker Companies itself is engaged in what is criminal facilitation of the state's criminal system. It is underway in the workplace. And I want to be clear, Precious Bastillos, Silverview Townhomes, any and every third party, including Nova contractors, are engaging in that state system. And it is workplace terrorism because you're not under that the entity Speaker Companies is not only engaging in that. The entity that's keeping you under surveillance, that is the LAPD, the state of California that's keeping you under surveillance, is engaged in workplace terrorism, harassment, and sexual violence as an entity that is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. You are looking at understanding and what is also the unilateral a demonstration of what is stalking with light, which is what the entity is engaging in monitoring you. They're doing so while you're driving by a building and engineered light is ricocheting off of your car. in under a light source that's not even established as possibly the natural environment, while you're looking at it at an entirely different region, which is why you document what is stalking with the whole environment, something that is so unfathomable and outlandish, but for documentation so that you can understand what is demonic activity, you can understand the malice of a government that is targeting someone via demonic methods, serving the purpose to criminally defame that targeted individual that in any way seeks to report or assert that the government is monitoring them. And many times they don't even have the vocabulary. How do you articulate the fact that you're looking at light just appearing all over the place and shadows appearing all over the place and people harassing you and they're following you around even though you don't know their name? This is what the demon possessed are doing while they're being psychotic and stalking you, following you everywhere in helicopters. And they look to the left and the right, just like you saw Precious Bastillos engaging in, very highly demonic, using her children as props, just like you saw Clarissa Abundance engaging in, while the entity stalking by helicopter, engaging what is monitoring and stalking with minor children, one after another, crossing path. You're going to remove all of those children that live at the crime scene, systematically monitoring with the state, making them criminals, contributing to the delinquency of them, literally abusing them while they are engaged in and used to perpetrate this federal offense against an American citizen, which is also a violent sex offense. All right, so I want to be clear. You saw Precious Bastillos engaging in that, and Precious Bastillos was surrounding with the third party in relevant position. His legs are covered in engineered light. There's no sunlight that's going to be touching his legs while the light source is over 204 North Euclid Avenue. In the same way, there's no light source, no sun, that is, that's going to be over me, and it's in the same position as I documented yesterday while I am standing, Sunday, while I'm standing in front of this same apartment building at 1:45 in the afternoon. That's not the sun. That makes no provision for the sun to ever be over Euclid Avenue, by the way, at 204 North Euclid Avenue. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct. And sunlight does not ricochet off of your car at a distance, swiping across buildings. It doesn't do it when Tiffany Shreds, that's a demon. It doesn't do it when Universal Waste does it, that's a demon. It doesn't do it when the Ontario Police Department do it, that's a demon. And they're doing it in concert with those that like to be in helicopters stalking. All right, and that's relevant positioning. The demons are targeting you through the amplification of their audible activity while they want to appear at a distance. They're also using multiple helicopters. And those are demons that are affiliated with law enforcement agencies. And that's the pattern of conduct. And this is the identification of what is state surveillance, and this is America's version of terrorism, and it is underway in the state of California, and it is in violation also of what is federal Title 18, federal stalking, keeping one under surveillance and doing so with those over and under the age of majority, by the way. And while I am a property manager, there are relevant laws that are simultaneously being violated, namely, while the entity is engaging in massive surveillance. I want to be clear, everybody who's covered by this engineered light, they're all group stalking. There's no sun that's over the hillside. This is a light source. The engineered light, for purposes of ongoing group stalking, is covering all of the properties, and you see the demons that are crossing path admitting that they're stalking you while engineered light moves across surfaces, while your shadow is appearing at a distance away from you, all matter of what is demonic. And then they're engaging in what is also simultaneously monitoring, and I mean Nova contractors having access to the personal private information of federal housing applicants and federal housing recipients. While they're keeping me under surveillance, this communication device that I work on is subject to surveillance. The demon possessed that are monitoring, keeping me under surveillance, are looking everything that I am dealing with, everything that I am processing as a matter of my job as a property manager is a matter of public information amongst the entity that's keeping me under surveillance. That is the LAPD that's engaging in criminal monitoring. They're engaged in federal stalking as well, and they have unlawful access, which they are in violation of federal law. But it's not just them. It's the demon that you saw crossing path, Precious Bastillos, and it is a crime in violation of existing federal laws while she's engaged in Title 18 federal stalking conduct, while she's keeping a property manager under surveillance in concert with the state of California. It goes for every third-party group stalker that's in relevant position. Okay, it is currently 10:01 a.m. This is the maintenance of the light source that's over me in Los Angeles, where it remains till the end of the day, which is providing for what is the ability to prosecute an entire state, because the entity kept the light source over me in Upland, California, which is what I continuously documented from day to day to day. There is no provision for the sun to be over the hillside, rising in alignment to my apartment, and then setting in alignment to my apartment, which in and of itself is a pattern of conduct, because the sun is not some stagnated, hunkered down light source that's remaining over you for the duration of the day. That's the light source. That's called stalking with light. And just so that you know who stalks with light, I'm gonna let you know what demonic activity is. The demon possessed are stalking. That means they are maintaining presence all around you while they are in the engineered light, surrounding you with engineered light. And so in case you don't know, I'm gonna let you know what that is. Demons are doing that, and it's demonic activity. And this is what the government in the state of California is engaging in. It is the P.O.C. Okay, it is currently again 10:02 a.m. The sound of those sirens, those are demons driving fire trucks and ambulances, just like you saw on as I was documenting yesterday at 10:46 in the morning, where I captured the light source that's nowhere near 2301 South Euclid Avenue. No. It's not over any hotel room in Ontario. It's right here remaining over me. What? Like you saw Clarissa Abundance group stalking with the state and LAPD. Those are the demons that are group stalking at my hotel room. That's what the demons in Los Angeles Department. This is the state of California engaging in that. The sound of sirens is amplified audible activity, and it serves for massive monitoring. They're also criminally misusing those emergency vehicles, using the lights as a method of audible activity, and also using the traffic lights. It affects the traffic lights, and they are engaging what is crossing a path while they're driving around the perimeter, and it serves for federal stalking. Federal stalking is massively underway. This is state surveillance. So that's what you heard right now, and it is ongoing communication of a threat. All 59 units here are going to federal prison because of the intolerable level of criminal facilitation of federal group stalking and monitoring. The entity maintains the light source as a matter of documentation. You see it here at the in the morning at 10 o'clock. It's here, and at 5 p.m. it's still outside of my door on the opposite side of my person. It's right here. And then when I go to my apartment after 6 p.m., this light source is still at the same property because I'm looking at it outside of my bedroom window, where there is no provision for any sun to be over that same 7-Eleven, by the way, at 204 North Euclid Avenue, which I have documented, and the light source is remaining at that same address, and that's capturing the P.O.C., as I have consistently documented for a term of years, where the state of California is being exposed and prosecuted for not only engaging in what is group stalking and understanding what group stalking is and who commits it. The state commits it's a matter of public corruption. The state is doing it in concert with the people. So this is exposing what is the not so free state, the not so free country, because in America, they're keeping American citizens under surveillance, and they are so demented. It is so wicked. The entity is kidnapping American citizens in order to silence them. All right, taking their reputation, falsely depicting them as suffering from some mental incapacity when you seek to assert your rights against that corrupt government. And that's the significance of having corrupt law enforcement agencies who are then engaging in what is kidnapping, not exercising any legal jurisdiction under the law, where they're engaging in what is the stalking conduct in that specific environment, and then masquerading as having authority under the law. It goes for the sheriff's department, and it goes for the courts as well, where I've captured the P.O.C. It is currently 10:04 a.m. at 1810 North Alvarado Street. This is P.O.C.